Hello and welcome to the Elena Cardone Show. Today we have Hannah Keeley in the house, America's #1 mom, married 34 years, 7 kids, okay? I personally cannot wait to pick your brain, hear what you have to say on the subject. You've had multiple businesses, 7 businesses that you didn't have. But now we've arrived at the most successful business, which you are a certified coach, life coach. You only have a certain amount of clients that you take on a year. You've been on Good Morning America, you've been on Fox and Friends, you've been on numerous television shows for your expertise. You've helped people change their lives with their families and their businesses. And I can't wait to pick your brain because you're phenomenal. I have a personal affinity for women that have a love and care for moms.
Yes.
Because as a mom, we need love and care ourselves.
Yes.
So I want to blow some back to you, but I will admit I'm guilty because I also want to take from you in this moment and hear what you have to say. So get your pens ready because Hannah is gonna throw down, I guarantee.
About to grace us, whether extraordinary, 10x skill, 10x badass. Yeah, I'm after what I want.
Hannah, what is your origin story and how did you get to be America's #1 mom coach?
Oh my gosh. Basically, I had my own mental breakdown. I mean, isn't that where everything starts, right at the bottom? And I couldn't manage my life, my home, my kids. We were broke as a joke. And I realized at that moment I had to apply myself and not depend on anyone else to save me and really take action. I just took the next action step. And as soon as I was moving forward, it's like no stopping me because I knew I was doing something not just for me, but for my children as well. I had to change my life so I could really set them up for a different life.
So what do you do and why do you do it differently or better?
The thing that sets me apart is every single hack out there is helping moms do things better. But I realized early on, because of my background in cognitive behavioral therapy and everything, that we can't always do the action if we don't really believe the belief. So the way I do things is I got to go to the thought first. As soon as I dial in on that, then you can move forward. But I see so many moms sabotaging themselves because they're doing it backwards. They're trying to do the action without really believing it. So I try to help moms, like, let's get into alignment with what we really believe, move forward in that way. And then it almost becomes like you're unstoppable because you know you can do this.
Where did you grow up and how did that help you shape your success?
Oh my goodness. Well, I grew up in the Deep South. And
where?
Yeah, it was in Georgia, South Carolina, like in that area. But grew up in the Deep South and didn't have a lot. And it was a struggle financially. And I remember seeing my mom work so hard trying to create a different life for us. And I saw she was able to succeed so much in a time when other women didn't, in the 70s, starting her own business and doing these amazing things. And she really set the example for me to realize no matter what the situation, I can figure out a way through this. And that kind of set me up with that, like that spirit of I'm not stopping. I'm going to find a way through this. And, if you have enough grit, you can get it done.
What is your biggest failure and what did you learn from it?
It's funny, Elena, because I really don't see anything I've done as failure. I have failed more than probably any woman out there. I've failed at 7 businesses. I have gone bankrupt. We have been foreclosed on. I don't really see any of that as a failure because in everything I had to learn to be stronger so I could pivot and move past it. So if I didn't have those failures, honestly, I may not be where I am today. So I don't know if I really have because I just kept going.
What advice do you wish you knew before you started?
I think the advice that I wish I had known before I started was, you got this. Like so many times I would think I need to figure out who has the answer and who can help me and where do I get the resource? When really it's in everyone. We've got it in us. If we could just stop for a moment before we panic, dig down to that deepest level and say, no, I can find a way through this. I wish I had known that earlier.
So good. So true.
It's so true.
So true.
People depend upon other people to come in and rescue them.
But then they get to blame it on them if it doesn't work
Absolutely.
out. Instead of, okay, no, that was on me.
Absolutely. Every single time someone's like, oh, well, I need to get permission. I need to ask someone about this. I need to consult with someone. I need to think about it. And you can say I'm wrong. But even when people say I need to pray about it, what I'll say is like, well, tell me what that looks like. What does that look like when you pray about it? Because this could be an answer to prayer. You know, when so many times we just question ourselves, we doubt so much. I wonder what would happen if we turned off the doubt just long enough to take the next move, you know?
Ooh.
Like
I wonder what the world would look like from the whole history line of people that have stopped because of doubt, but didn't. And what would the world look like?
And what did they die with a dream still in them? Like what was still in them when they left this earth that they were put here to create? You know, I always think I don't want to leave anything behind. You know, I want to show up as a washed out dish rag, like so done. So he's like, I did everything, God, I did it.
Me too.
That's right. I'll do it. I'll turn off the doubt long enough to just move forward. If I fail, so what? Everyone has to fail.
After 7 businesses, you're like, I don't care.
I don't care. It's almost like you need to be comfortable with failure.
I know. I just finished Elon Musk's book.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't write it, but it was written about him and the failures that he's had. He just said, or he got to a point where there's so much failure and so much like humiliation or learned experiences from it that he doesn't care anymore. You don't care. You're like, well, what do I care? And when you have that sense of freedom, you can go and push the envelope even further and further and further because you think, what's the worst that could happen? I could fail. Okay, well, I already did that.
Yeah.
So now what would happen if I did just a little bit more or broke this boundary or push the envelope just this little bit? Like once you know you're not going to die,
right?
You it's almost better to know that you can go beyond failure and still survive.
And you survive. You take a breath, take your pulse. You're alive. You made it through that. But you said it, that one word you said, freedom. And I think that's what everyone craves, but they don't realize they can create it if they just become faithful, if they become fearless. And as soon as we become fearless, we become unlimited. And that's what freedom is.
I know.
It's like, it doesn't matter. Will I fall on my face? All right. I know what it feels like. I have scars. I have bruises. Let's go. What's another one?
You know?
I know.
Describe your daily success routine.
My routine, and this has been so strong for me because I feel like, you know how everyone says carpe diem? Like seize the day. I think most moms can't do that because we can't think past 11. So I say carpe money, which is
11. That's
I know,
9:30.
like the next hour.
I'm like, please, I'm asleep.
But I love to go by carpe money, which is seize the morning. And if I can just get out of bed and go after it. So I always do a walk in the morning. I always do my meditation. I do my exercise. And then I feel like, okay, I'm fueled. I'm ready to go. I can do this. I feel like I have control over that. So anything else that comes at me, all right, I can do it.
Right. You've confronted the hard part.
Yeah, hard part is yourself. You are always the mountain that stands in your way.
Totally.
Yeah.
Describe your end goal.
Gosh, world domination, I guess.
I like that. What does that look like?
I don't know if there is an end goal because I think the end goal is when we're dead. Like, why do we stop? You know, I think my end goal, but it's not really an end goal, is building up a life for my grandchildren now that's totally different from how I grew up and how I lived. And I want to, like, that's just multiply. That's like a mandate that we're given by God, is to multiply and leave this world better for not just for our children, but for the world. What are you doing for the world? So I don't know if there is an end to that until I curl my toes up and I'm gone.
I agree.
Yeah. Why stop?
No, I know.
It's too exciting.
It is too exciting.
It's too fun.
It's too, work is the basis of morale. Like,
Yes.
it just feels good to make a contribution and to make good with the planet. And,
That's right.
and until you look around and it's heaven on earth, why would you stop?
Right. And we're called to do that. We are called to, I mean, Jesus even said, like, on earth as is in heaven. We are called to create heaven here on earth. So why are we
So
not
we
doing
can't
that?
stop when we're like at war with each other.
Right. We can't
Does
stop.
that make sense?
Isn't that kind of like a blame game in itself
I
too?
know.
There's
Like,
always
why
something.
do we have issues? Like, in the big universe of how vast and how big it is, and
Yeah.
there's this one little planet that has life on it and we can't even get along. Are you kidding me?
Right.
Like, shouldn't we be so lucky that we have mountains and oceans and trees and this beautiful planet, and we can go in boats and airplanes and travel and meet other people? Why are we fighting? I don't get it. Like, we can't get along in this ginormous universe
Right.
with only one little life here,
Right.
and we're having problems?
And we're
What
having
is
problems.
wrong with us?
But I really think what's wrong with us as a population is people have pain and they don't know what to do about it because there's always pain coming from them. But as long as we're looking out at the world and saying, who created this pain for me? We're always going to be at war. We're always going to be struggling. But the war is within us.
Totally.
We are the cause of the pain.
Of course, because people who are happy and are fulfilling the betterment of mankind
Right.
are not at war.
Right.
They want to
They
make
won
better.
the war with themselves.
Yes.
And that's why they're happy.
Yeah.
That's why they're moving forward. That's why they wake up contributing.
Right. Describe your biggest inspiration in this industry that you're in.
The biggest inspiration for me, and honestly, I know this sounds trite, but I really think is Jesus, because he was so relatable. And he was so, he really came to be like so human and interact with people and be one of them and just pause long enough to listen and understand.
Mm-hmm.
And it really inspires me that he was able to create, to this day, such an incredible movement with just out of love and compassion, you know, not stepping on anyone and not hurting anyone and not trying to figure out a way through, but pausing long enough to hear people and listen to their pain and really like be able to help them right there. I think that's my biggest inspiration.
Why do you think somebody who comes here and wants to do good and does do good, how can that person end up nailed to a cross?
Because it's so different. People don't like different. You've seen that. I know you've seen that.
For sure.
As soon as you step out to live differently, as soon as you speak out, like, who did he speak out against? The church. Every time he like confronted people and said, guys, you have this wrong, it was always to the super religious set. So of course you're inviting persecution. And every time we come across with a different voice, that you hear all the noise, but then there's a different voice, there's a different currency, there's a different energy. People are going to love it, but people are going to hate it because it creates polarity. I'm sure you've seen that in your industry, you and Grant. It's very polarizing. People love you, but I'm sure you've got the haters out there.
So maybe there's one or two. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know either, but there's probably a couple out there.
There is.
Just some lost souls, you know?
Yeah. You know, I finally came to the realization when I realized you break it up into the team, right? And what is the team that I'm playing on? And I'm playing on the team that wants women empowered, wants children protected,
Yeah.
wants families reunited, wants man and woman to be able to work together to reach heightened levels of success. And I want financial freedom for all on this planet.
Of
And
course.
that's the team I'm playing on.
Of course
I'm
that's going to
playing
come
on-
under scrutiny.
Yeah, and I'm playing on this, you know, ethical, like I'm anti-drugs, I'm this, I'm that. So everyone that's anti that is on that team. So the team that's pro all the other things that I'm not, like I'm pro-family, if you're going to be against family, if you're going to be, you know, forcing realities that aren't really my reality, we're going to clash. We're going to have a problem. And people that don't want people to be financially free are gonna, call us a fraud or a this or that because, we're having people invest in Cardone Capital, and that's not something the everyday person can do. Like they have to go to Wall Street and there's fees. Like the things that we're doing are just,
You're breaking down walls.
we're breaking down walls, barriers, the things that we're doing with 10X Health. I mean, it's like whoever is on that side is going to be on that side.
Absolutely. And it is polarizing because our culture is trying to tear apart the family.
Yeah.
They're trying to tear apart the marriage, the family, pull the children away from the parents. And I mean, don't get me started with the educational system and how that's indoctrinating children. And it's just, so when you come across as a voice, it's like, hey, I'm going to stand up and tell you why I'm proud to be a mom, why I'm proud to be a wife, why I'm proud to be a business leader. Of course, that's going to rub people the wrong way. They want it how they see the world. And you're a voice that speaks out differently.
Yeah, and it's crazy how if you can be for that, they think you're like against something else or label you whatever they want to label you.
Yeah.
And
if they can criminalize you, then they can validate their own emotions.
Exactly. Wow. Okay. Oh, describe the craziest day that you've had at your job.
I have had so many crazy days. I don't even know where I'd get the first one from. With managing, like when I started building this business, honestly, I was coaching people out of my pantry with the door closed and my 7 kids running around the house. I'm like, just pretend, let's play the quiet game. Just so Mommy can go in the pantry, literally sitting there in front of the flour and the sugar, having a Zoom call with a client. Yes.
So this is recently.
Oh, no. It was before Zoom. I would, hook up a camera, but it was like,
but
I would, seriously. So some of the craziness, like when people say, oh, well, this doesn't fit in with my schedule and it's hard to do. I'm like, okay, 7 kids. And I was homeschooling. I homeschooled all these kids. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be outdoor playtime for 25 minutes. I'm going to get on a call. And somehow I managed to make it work. But the one thing I will tell you, Elena, I know I went over 30 seconds, but something that was so important to me was my children will always come before my business. And I believe that's why my business has been successful, because I kept things in the right perspective. Because I'm like, no, my family's going to be first. And I don't think that's impossible. If you decide it's achievable, it's achievable.
I feel the same way right now. I'm like, the family comes first.
Yeah.
I'm reworking and reorganizing my schedule now. I have teenagers now.
Is that amazing?
It is amazing. And I'm like, you know what? I thought once they kind of got to a certain age, I was like, oh, I can get back in the workforce again, which I did.
Yeah.
And then I got really busy. And now they're teenagers. And I'm like, wait a minute. You know what? I got to come back over here.
Yeah.
They might not want me over here because they're teenagers now.
Right.
But I'm coming back over here.
Right.
Because it's only a few years until they're out, and I'm coming back over here.
Man, they never stop needing you. They never stop needing you. I mean, my oldest daughter, she's 30. And she called me the other day and she said, I just want you to know that I was just sitting here thinking about how lucky I am. I was like, what are you talking about? I thought she meant like her boyfriend and, everything going well in her life and her career. She's like, to have you and Dad as parents. And even all my friends know there's something different about you guys and about our family. And it's because they're always number one. They were always first. And I think that's why we've been able to achieve success, because we have that home principle, that core defining foundational principle of nothing is greater than the family.
I love that.
It's so powerful.
Did that 30-year-old did you go through issues in the teen years, like with any of your 7 children?
I mean, there were always issues, but there was never rebellion. And I think
And what does rebellion look like?
I see rebellion as, okay, so here, typically people think here's the parent, here's the teenager, here's the child. And sometimes we butt heads. Yeah. And sometimes it's a tug of war. But I decided from day one that if there's a tug of war, it's going to be me and my child on one side and the world's going to be on the other side. Like I will never be at odds with my children. So of course they've screwed up, they've made mistakes, right? But we talk about it, we move through it, and then it never comes up again. And I think that's why we have such unity in our family.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I keep on trying to move them out, and they keep on wanting to come hang out over the weekend. So I don't know what's going on.
Doesn't that
But
feel
I
good?
love it. No, I love it. My son's so funny because they were moving back to where we live in Virginia. And I was like, but you just moved out. He's like, yeah, you just made it really good for us. We kind of want to be close to home. So, I mean, evidently.
Did you cook?
When they were little.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's easier, the boys or the girls?
Okay, my theory is boys are harder physically, easier emotionally, and girls are harder emotionally, easier physically. I mean, none of my girls
It totally makes sense.
gave me a black eye with a baseball, but
They were running, jumping off the walls,
Yes.
getting injured,
Yes.
I'm guessing, a lot more than the girls.
always.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I was right there in the middle of it. Like, how did that happen?
But emotionally.
But emotionally, I mean, they all do. I mean,
Why are
everyone
the
has
boys
emotional
easier?
struggles.
I'm going to get back. But,
Okay, all right.
But not now. I have to not forget about this.
Yeah.
How are boys easier emotionally? I don't
think-
have boys. So I don't know.
Yeah. So I think boys don't always add as much drama to a situation as girls do. And that might
Give
be
me an
like a
example.
sexist statement. For example, okay, they'll come home and they had a fight with a friend at school,
Mhm.
and where their co-op is, but they have a good friend and they're not getting along and all this drama. And she said this about me, and I think she's likes this girl more, and they're hanging out more, and now I feel like this, and now this guy, all the drama is like a complete soap opera. But with the guy, and this might be a sexist statement, but I've noticed with my kids, guys are just like, yeah, we got in a fight the other day, but we're cool. Like, there's not as much drama to it, but there are emotional struggles. So my boys, they've all had emotional struggles, but I think, we have to know how to deal with it. And I love that I am a trained, therapist and a coach, because I can kind of meet them right where they are. But
What are the emotional struggles that the boys, and this is just your evaluation. So
it's just
no one
me
can
and my
tell you-
limited pool of study.
That's
So,
right.
yeah.
So, I mean, but give me an example of what the boys are struggling with emotionally, in your opinion.
Well, okay, so the boys in my family, they would have struggles just the same as everyone else with relationships and frustration, anxiety, all that kind of stuff. I think today,
what
though,
are
what
they
I'm seeing
anxiety about?
culturally, what I'm seeing
Yeah.
among boys is almost like a kind of a tearing apart that I'm seeing happening in young men today. It's like almost they're being demasculated. Emasculated. They're being
How?
I'm just seeing a lot of that with our culture and how we're not raising up strong, powerful men.
And they're suffering because of this?
I don't think my kids are suffering, but I see these waves coming and trying to, just like the waves that are happening against women, like tearing apart femininity.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, if your femininity means, being a feminist means you're more masculine, and that's not really embracing womanhood. We're putting the feminist movement back with that.
I think so too.
And so I think men are kind of struggling to find out where their position is. One of my sons, he was like, I held the door for this girl the other day and she like jumped down my throat.
No.
And so they're kind of like, where do I fit in this culture? And it's hard.
I never realized.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Like, where do you fit in? Do you ask a girl out to date? Do you offer to pay? Is she gonna get mad if you do? Is like all the new
Rules.
what's right and what's wrong, and yeah, it's got to be like, we're not there, but I imagine like if you're a young adult or a teenager and trying to figure out how do I manage boy-girl relationships, it's just a lot today.
It is
Culturally, it's just so much is right and wrong, and this is cool, this is not cool, and don't step over these boundaries. And I don't know, it's got to be, it's a struggle. I see the struggle.
I see the struggle too. I didn't know it so much from the boy point of view because I have teen girls. So
Right.
obviously I have a lot of reality in what I see. with the social media and the body
Right.
and the, the boyfriend things and
Yeah.
all of the stuff that they're kind of going through, and just what's out there with all the sexual content
Yeah.
and what's cool and what's not cool, and
Yeah.
all of that. But
All
I
of
didn't
that is
know
so
the
much.
boys. I don't know that side of things from the boy point of view.
And I think boys also have to go above and beyond, unfortunately, today, to make sure a girl feels safe. Because so much is, you're not safe with men. And, I mean, a lot of people have created that situation, unfortunately. But so in order for men to be able to really partner with a woman, you really have to go over and above to make sure that safe, and I'm going to honor you and whatever boundaries. Like, it's hard because so many men have crossed those boundaries that women don't feel that safe. It's just so much. It's like political, cultural, everything. It's hard on kids. It's hard on teenagers today to figure out where you are.
Yeah, I agree. And society does its damnedest
Yes.
to keep everyone confused.
Everything.
Because when people are confusion leads to failure. So if it isn't strength in numbers and everyone's an individual and operating on their own, everyone I feel like is kind of weaker and
Right.
kind of scared, and and then people can be controlled easier.
Oh,
My conspiracy theory comes
no,
out.
that's not a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
People, I mean, it's designed to control people.
Yeah.
If you can keep people confused, you can control them.
Yeah.
If you can keep them numb,
Yeah.
you can control them.
Yeah.
If you can keep them anesthetized, distracted,
Oh yeah.
you can control them. Do you know there was a I'm sure you're familiar. You already know this, but school came about, like the rise of education, modern education came about as a result of the Industrial Revolution, so that they could train up consumers and workers. And there was a flyer. I saw a picture of this flyer the other day, and I was astounded because it was a flyer advertising for teachers. They needed teachers to come in and teach these children in this new thing called school. And the goal was to make sure children were docile, sober, what's the other word? Obedient, and punctual. Those were the 4 goals of the original school system.
And sober not meaning alcohol, sober meaning like...
Sober meaning actually partly alcohol, but sober was like just do as you're told. Docile,
Exactly.
you're submissive.
So,
Obedient, you're controllable. And if you're I mean, the whole docile is I'll yield to you. I'll be told what to do. Punctual, I'll show up on time. It was to train up consumers who would buy goods,
they're told,
and workers to create goods.
wow. Like
And
breakfast.
it's still doing it.
Breakfast was a marketing campaign to get them to sell eggs and bacon.
Yeah.
So they said, oh, it's the most important meal of the day. And
Wow.
okay, well, we got to have breakfast.
Yeah.
We got to eat our eggs and bacon.
That's
Like,
right.
I mean,
I wonder if people
wear our
stop
mask,
to think
take our vaccine. I mean,
exactly,
It just goes on and on and on.
Yeah. Well, they say it's right. I should do it.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, my
We could go down so many
rabbit holes.
with vaccines and masks.
Oh, that
Do you
was a
know if
social
you're
experiment.
6 feet away from someone, if you're closer than 6 feet, your heart picks up on their heart and you start beating in tandem.
No.
Yeah.
How did you know that?
I found this fact out later, but when you're further, so it's designed to keep us separated, isolated. When
I
you're isolated,
told
you're
you.
confused. When you're confused, you're controlled. Okay.
Oh, don't even.
I know.
I fought so many battles during that time. It
Oh
was
my gosh.
ridiculous.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Like,
my
no,
goodness.
we will not have
And-
that policy here.
That was a social experiment.
Of course it
And
was.
they won.
Of course
They saw
did.
how easy it was.
How can we control people?
Exactly.
Let's see the limits we can control.
Oh,
people.
yeah. And it was strong,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So describe your hobbies and how they help with work-life balance.
I think my hobbies, it's funny because the things I do as hobbies, I really don't see work as work. I love what I do.
Me too.
So when I'm coaching people and I'm training up people, when I'm speaking, I am on fire. Like that is my flow state. I love speaking. And so when I can just interact with people and help them see something bigger for themselves. I don't know. Is that a hobby? Maybe it is.
I think it is.
I mean, I consider things like, gardening and decorating.
I
Like,
know.
like we all love to do that because we all love to be surrounded by beauty. But yeah, I mean, I do.
I do too.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so when you die, how do you want to be remembered?
Wow. When I die, I want to be remembered by my great-grandchildren as a woman that changed the trajectory of their family tree.
Ooh.
That's just that's what I want to be remembered for. So that's the woman. There she is. She did it. Wow. There was nothing in the family line until she decided to make it happen. Yeah. Thanks for that question.
That was a good one.
That's just that's fun.
Now you have like a target.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What is the best business advice anyone has given you?
Oh my gosh. Okay, the best business advice, it's kind of funny because it wasn't like, hey, set up this funnel and do this amazing challenge and make sure you build a great team. All of that is like found in books. But I remember one time I was like, this is so hard. Like doing this next thing, how do I figure this out? How do I do this? How do I build this empire, this industry? And I remember someone said this one sentence. They said, Hannah, a lot stupider people than you have done it before. And for some reason, that perspective shift is like, okay, yeah. Like, come on. Okay.
I can do
Stupider
this.
people than me have done it.
Yeah.
Come on, what is this?
And that is the advice you gave to yourself, your younger self. You got this.
You got this. You got this. Pretend it's already created. And let's just move forward.
Okay. Then list 3 things anyone can do to start a successful business.
Number 1, get over your excuses. You just can't carry excuses to the next level. Number 2, stop looking for other people to help you out. And number 3, do the scariest thing you've ever done. I remember the first time I invested in a business, Elena, I didn't know if my credit card for the deposit would go through on a program to build an online business, to learn how to do that. I didn't have any money, and I was willing to do the scariest thing and just leap. Whether I didn't know whether I was going to be able to pay it back or whether I was going to lose or fail. And I remember my heart beating out of my chest when I scanned the card for a $500 deposit. And then it went through, and I was like, oh, it went through. Oh my God, it went through.
Did you do
now
the
I'm
program?
committed. Yes, I've done everything.
Did it work?
Yeah.
Because you made it work.
Because I made it work. Anything will work if you make it work.
That's right. Wow. What's the 3 hardest parts of your profession?
I think the 3 hardest parts of my profession is managing a team is a challenge for me.
Why is managing a team
think
hard for you? Managing
a team is hard for me because I want everyone to feel good, and I want everyone to be in alignment, and I want to, it's almost like I need to separate the mom from the team leader, right? And so I think that's one of the most challenging things about a business is leading a team and making sure those needs are met while they're doing their part to really build the vision of what we have.
Okay, now I'm going back to, because I segued.
Yeah.
To the 3 hardest things about your profession. So leading a team.
Yes. Leading a team, balancing everything in life. Well, no. I got to think about that because there's no balance.
I agree.
Okay, if you're balanced, you're still.
Oh, how do you balance?
You don't. If you're going to walk, you have to right, left. You have to be unbalanced. So I think the idea, if we think we have to be balanced, we're going to be stuck.
Thank you.
So it's like, no, I'm going to drive hard over here, and now I'm driving hard over here.
I know.
So the 3, still going back to that.
We can come back to it.
3 hardest
or
things.
we can skip it too.
Yeah. I think
that's a hard one. The 3 hardest things in your profession.
I think in my profession, as a coach.
Coaching the uncoachable.
I won't coach the uncoachable.
You get rid of them. You ditch
I
them?
will not.
How do you know when they're not coachable? How
If they're
do
not
you know?
willing to invest in themselves.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if someone is like, no, it's their problem. This is my excuse. It's like, okay, number one, I always tell all my clients, when you show up for coaching, you show up with your big kid pants and your steel toe boots. Like, we go hard. And I coach really, really high level entrepreneurs and business owners because they have a different set of problems.
That's right.
Like they're trying to the problems with my clients are making sure that their family is intact while they're building these like huge empires, right? And so I come along as like family coach to make sure everything's firing on all levels. So with all my clients, I'm like, okay, yeah, you got this goal and we're meeting it, but let's talk about your marriage. Let's talk about your children. Let's talk about your health. And so I kind of come across and make sure that everything is running smoothly and they're able to reach their goals, no matter what it is, whether it's the next, 8 figures, 9 figures, whatever. And so I think I won't coach the uncoachable because I coach high level people and they already know that you have to have a level of humility in order to grow. So, with that discernment, I'm like, if you're uncoachable, then just stay where you are. Then evidently your life isn't painful enough. Because as soon as it gets more painful, you'll need me.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I can't do it.
Can't do it. If you drag someone to the next level, you have to drag them the whole way forward.
That's right.
And you
can't do it. They have to be ready. I feel like I'm not the coach of the little league. Like, I will destroy somebody. You'll hate me.
Yeah.
I'll hate you.
Yeah.
I'm not little leagues. I'm the professional league, somebody that already has gotten themselves to somebody else. I have other people in place to get those people up here. Because
Absolutely.
They need stuff too, and they need love, and they need the basics. But where I'm at is exactly where you're at. Like, I want professional level.
Yeah.
They can do it. They're competent and just need a little tweaking here and there.
Absolutely. And have you noticed the highest level, people who are operating at the highest level, they're like, cut through the crap, like give it to me straight.
Right.
And so I think that's what I bring as a coach.
It
It's
is
like,
so...
no, we gotta switch this thing. We can't, there is a subconscious excuse that's still there. There's something that's blocking it. And so that's where I come in and kind of like do the subconscious wiring so that they can move forward past those things. So, yeah.
Describe the biggest complaint you've ever gotten. I like the smile. Did you flash on some things? You have 7 businesses. You had 7 businesses. Biggest complaint.
Biggest complaint from another person or from me?
Another person.
That they're not supported enough. That they don't have the right. Yeah. It's like, I have changed diapers for 7 babies. I'm not going to change your diapers too. Wipe your butt, pull up your pants, and move forward. And so that's why I have a very high discernment when it comes to like, I will coach you, I will not coach you. And I only take referrals because of that. Because I'm like, no, you're not ready for this. And then it gets frustrating for them, because like, no, yeah, I am. It's like, no, you're not. You got to show up. You got to show me that you're ready. I think the biggest complaint is that it's just too hard and they need more help. And yes, it is hard. And no, you don't need help.
You need to do the work.
You need to do the work.
Roll up your
You need to do
sleeves.
the next thing.
Yeah.
When I hear someone complaining this one time, there was someone who was like, I just don't have time to do all this. I know. And I said, pull out your phone right now. I said, go to your screen time app. Show it to me. 7 hours, 42 minutes.
On Instagram.
I said, okay, tell me about you not having time. But what? She said, oh, I didn't realize that. I was like, yeah, no. You don't want it bad enough. You don't want it bad enough. When it comes down to it, we do things out of inspiration or desperation. Either you're not inspired enough because you don't think it's possible for you, or you haven't gotten desperate enough. So keep on going down the road you're going. When it gets so hard you can't bear it any longer, then maybe we can do something together. I mean, you're the same way.
Do you give their money back if they ask for their money back?
Oh, I do. But
Me too.
You know why? I don't want that energy in my business.
Either.
Really?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm like, but you will be blacklisted. I will never.
Us too. I'm never doing business with you again.
Never doing it. Never.
You make me look like
Never.
I don't work when you don't
Right.
work. I work.
Right.
I get products. The
Yeah.
people around me get products.
Yes.
Because they're on this team and they want products. If
Right.
you come around me and you don't get a product, it leads me to one conclusion. You're batting for that team and you're making me look wrong and you're proving this side right and that I'm not good or not right. You're on the wrong team.
Bye.
You're on that team.
Right.
I play for this team and this is a winning team.
Yeah. And we do. We're like,
I'm
blacklisted. We will never sell them another product. We will never do business with them. Yeah.
Same.
But then they come in with another email address.
No, really?
I know that's happened to you too.
Well, I don't keep track of that.
Yeah, that's
a
that's
different
like
department. That's
but
why
so
I'm
many
like,
times it's
really?
like,
Because I don't
wait,
know
this
that.
complaint. Wait, this is this.
Oh no,
I know.
some of them are cuckoo.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, you got to weed those
That's not
out.
going to be on this, is it?
The cuckoo.
The cuckoo.
Yeah, the cuckoos.
The cuckoo will stay private, but
Yeah, the cuckoo
Yeah.
for Cocoa Puffs.
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
the cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
All right. What's an insult that you've received that you're proud of?
Oh, wow. Let me think about that.
I know mine.
Tell me yours.
Okay. I was called a gold digger when I first started dating Grant. And I was livid. I was like, because I was strong, independent, powerful woman.
Yeah.
I moved out when I was 17. I paid for
Right.
everything. I was rich. I was poor. I was, well, not rich, but
Right,
rich for me.
right.
And this and this. And I was like, I'm not with him. All my boyfriends before Grant, I supported them. It was,
Wow.
that was messed up too.
Yeah,
But anyway, so I was called a gold digger. It bothered me to the core to where I was almost like wanting to break up with him because
Yeah.
and then I thought about it and I was like, how can I turn this into a positive? And then I started doing soul searching and then I was like, okay, gold digger. Well, if I dig for gold in myself, then I can demand it of others. And then if I owned gold digger and I said, I am a gold digger and I came out with it and said why I'm a gold digger, then all of the insults that I'm a gold digger, like they can't use against me anymore because they can't get a reaction. I don't go effect. And that's the first time I learned, how can I take the arrow that was thrown, use it in my own toolbox and throw it back?
Yes, ma'am.
It was a big life lesson.
Oh,
for
that's
me.
good.
You know?
That is so good.
Yeah. So I've tried to figure out how to use it and
Yeah.
twist it. And
Yeah.
so that was
And
my-
you do that. You do that
You
to
know?
people.
I do. Like sometimes it takes a while to figure it out. Like,
Yeah.
how can I twist this? How can I warp this? How can
Yeah.
I use this
Yeah.
and display it?
Yeah. I love that. Don't you wish you could sometimes, like, I know you see gold in people. Don't you wish sometimes they could just see it in themselves? It's like if you could see yourself the way I see you, you have it in you. You don't need to be weak. You don't need to be depressed. You don't need to be anxious. You don't need this. This is not helping you. It's not serving you. There's something in you that's more powerful. And I think that's the biggest kicker, is that people just have it in them. They have that gold in them. And if they would just allow themselves to just a window of faith to believe in themselves, to believe that God put that in there for them and for the world, then they would act on it. But I know that, when people can't see the
They don't
gold
even
that's
have
in
to
themselves.
find it. It's there.
it's
That's what
already
I just
there.
heard you say. It's there. You just have to open up and reveal it
Yeah.
and let itself show.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just inspired me.
I love that.
You really did.
I love
Wow.
that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Re-energize.
It's already there.
Because life really does try sometimes. Like sometimes I have to step outside of it like a bird's eye
have
view.
to.
Because you're playing in the game.
You're
You're playing in the game of life.
right.
In
And
the
you're
game
right
of
there in the middle of
life,
it. You have to
there's-
pull away.
There's challenges and there's barriers.
Yeah.
And that's what happiness is, to overcome these obstacles to get to the challenge. And then
Yeah.
you win. And then it's a happy moment. And, that's
Yeah.
what feels good. So you
Yeah.
got to play this game of life.
Right. You
But
have
while
to.
you're playing the game of life, sometimes you can get a little knocked down, kicked, and like,
Yeah.
oh, gee, wrong, this one and this one in a struggle. And you're not out here seeing the effects that you're creating and all the wins that are
You're
happening
not.
from this or that. You're in here getting your ass kicked.
Yes,
And you're
every
like,
day.
shit, you know, and I had a fight with the daughter. Oh, disagreement with the husband. Oh, work thing didn't work well.
Yeah.
And then you have the moment. But every now and then when you just step outside and
Step
go,
out.
wait a minute. I have the power to be me. I'm me. Like, go in with a new viewpoint, with a thing, and go in and control this and stop being knocked
You have
around.
to step back long
and then
enough.
go back in.
I think it's like that little tap on the shoulder. That's like, hey, turn around and look how far you've come. Look at what you've done. And I think sometimes we get so busy as moms and as business owners, and that we're, like you said, we're so in the game. We don't step back and get that eagle eye vision all the time. But I think sometimes when you take a breath, like think about this, Elena, just giving yourself one small moment of looking back and seeing what you've accomplished. And one thing I know about you is you didn't do any of that for you. I don't believe you did. I believe you did it for the people you love the most. And that's what matters. That's what wakes you up. Mm-hmm. And that's what gets you going. It's like, I'm doing this for what I'm leaving behind. And that moment, like, look how much you've accomplished.
It's unbelievable. And yet,
No,
it really is.
but it happened, and why can't others do the same?
Mm-hmm. And just acknowledge it in themselves.
Yeah.
And for where they're going.
Yeah. What if there's no lucky breaks? Like, what if we create our own luck just because we always rise to the occasion? No matter what it is. Like, I don't know about you, but sometimes I can't think a year down the road. I have to think today. You know, I have my vision for a year. I have my vision for 5 years, 10 years, right? But sometimes it's just, how am I going to show up today? And sometimes that's all people can do. And if they could just, in that moment, say, how am I going to show up today? And they show up at the highest level with enough faith in themselves that they can move forward, that they can conquer the challenge, that day is going to lead to another and another and another. And they're going to have that same moment.
Do you still have days like that where you go, how can I show up today?
Oh, all the time. I mean, I told you, this was a very dark, like, you know, about a year and a half ago when my mom passed, it was so hard for me that I literally was like, can I just sell my business and just check out? But then it's like, but I wasn't doing it for me anyway.
That's right.
You know?
Because so many women depend on you.
Yeah.
And if you stopped and that light went out,
then how am I
It's a
honoring my
trans-
mother who
that's
set the
exactly
example?
right. That's exactly right. And then the other side wins because it's one less
Right.
competition out there.
No. we
Then
can't
they're
let that
like,
happen.
oh yeah, the woman who's all about moms, families, women,
Yeah.
we lost her. Yay, win for us.
Yeah.
That's what's kept me going.
Yeah.
I'm like, no,
Like, you're not going to
no,
win.
you're not gonna win.
You're not gonna win.
gonna win.
Not today.
I'm not letting you win. You know, even, this 4th of July will be 20 years that I've been married to Grant. And how long have you been married?
34 years. Almost 34 years.
So, there's some moments and years where you're like, I mean, I don't know, maybe your marriage is different, but for me, it's like some that are just like so amazing. And then there's a little bumps where you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, this is harder than I thought. You're butting heads or you're having a disagreement about.
But that's always in a crisis. It's always if you look, I bet the moments that were hardest for you and Grant were at the moments where you're shifting from one level to the next.
Yes.
Wasn't it?
Totally. Because it's
You
like a
have
new
to.
gear.
You're becoming two different people.
Yes.
And you've made the decision that we're going to go to the next level together. So we have to evolve together. That's hard to do.
Hard to do sometimes.
Like, that's why we see so many people, like, once you take a move forward and the other partner won't, like, you get further and further away. But if you're dedicated, just like you and Grant are, like, no, we're going to the next level, that crisis, it has to have a crisis. Like, every mountain is preceded by a valley. So when you go through that
And then
valley
you
and you
get
decide, no, we're going
stronger.
through it together, you
That's
get
right, you get
stronger.
And then you get even better. And you're like,
Oh
oh
my
my God. And then you
gosh.
fall like
You get-
in love all
You
over
get
again.
stronger, you
And
get
you're like, oh
hotter,
my
you
God.
get sexier,
That's
you
right.
get,
You're
oh,
like,
it's
how
just
did I fall
amazing.
in love again after
Yes.
20 years? Like, like
Oh my
each
gosh.
time it's like that.
Oh my
But
gosh.
every
yes.
single time I'm in that valley and I'm stretching in the crisis, saying, how are we going to get through this? And like, wow, this is
Wow.
for
And you
that.
feel kind of like you're groping along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I always go back to this. Do you know how many people would just love it?
Oh.
Would just relish that the power couple got divorced
Yeah.
and the kids got messed up. Like,
Yeah.
and I think to myself, hell
no.
freaking no.
Mm-mm.
You are not, like, that side is not going to win. And I go, what do I have to do? Because this is a good man. I mean, he's a great man. He's a great father.
Yeah.
We have a great marriage, and I go back to who we are and the stability and the
Yes.
and how we safe point families for the world. And I go, okay, there is a way. And this isn't even a big deal. Like, I can't figure this out. Like, this
Yeah.
is simple. Like, this
Yeah.
isn't drugs. This isn't cheating. This
Right.
isn't,
Right.
this is like
It's not
stupid
big.
stuff. Like,
It's not big.
like, it's like, then I go, God, thank God this is what we're fighting about.
Right.
Like, because we could be fighting about this.
Yeah.
And like, I should be thanking God that I'm fighting about this insignificant little nothingness. And then it brings me back to reality and I go, okay, I'm going to make this work. And then it's like to that side, like,
Right. Right. You didn't get me.
You didn't get
I didn't get this one. You didn't win today.
Another one bites the dust.
And another one down, and another one down. Another one bites the dust.
I'll let you do the
I'm ready
lyrics.
for this.
I'll just do the background noises. Like, that's all you want from
Fire
me.
you have to make it through those valleys and to make it through those hard times. That fire burns off all the things that can come against you. And what makes me sad is so many people have that fire inside them and they just let it die away. People are dying every single day with passion in them, with dreams in them, with books they haven't written, with songs they haven't sang, with all the promises in them. Like, we have one shot at this, I know you've thought about that. Like, we have one shot. There's no do-overs. And if you can, like, just today, like, if, people who are watching you, listening to you and seeing that fire, like, let it churn a little bit of that fire up in you, What could they do? Someone who's watching or listening, what could they do? What is a dream that they have had that they put on a shelf and they say, well, not for me, or not right now, or maybe later? Why not now? Why not take the next step?
Fail forward.
Fail forward, sister.
If you could have coffee with anyone, who would it be and why?
I would probably choose Elena Cardone. She's so inspiring.
We can make that happen. Oh, and why would you want coffee with Elena Cardone?
Because she's achieved so much in her life and she's done it in a way where she truly cares about people.
Thank you. That's amazing.
But that is what I see. That's what moves you forward.
That is what moves me forward.
And when you talk about your family and your precious girls, like, that's why you get up and fight.
You're right.
There's nothing more morally righteous than that,
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah, I love that. I
Me
love
too.
that about
We're going to
you.
have coffee.
Okay.
I'm holding you to.
Oh, 100%.
Okay, deal. What do you think your profession looks like in 5 years?
Oh, wow. Okay, the coaching. So I'm a coach. I'm a board certified master life coach. And I think in 5 years, we're going to look at such a saturation of the coaching market because now everyone can call themselves a coach, whether they have any training or not.
Totally.
And they can just like put that beside their name and tell someone they'll coach them. And I think someone's subconscious mind and life decisions I wouldn't want to enter into that field without having the training and the knowledge and the expertise to do that. And so I think we're going to look at a saturation where people are going to be kind of like, coach, like life coach, who's that?
Oh, we are in a saturation.
Yeah, we are. It's like, and some of these
Everyone's
coaches
an
don't even
expert.
have the results. Like, they're struggling. I've trained up so many coaches who are like, they were therapists and they were like, man, I was like struggling. I was I was
Oh,
depressed.
I
I
want
was
to tell you how to
anxious.
build a business. Well, how many employees do you have?
Right, none. But
Me?
I will tell you
How to do
exactly.
You're going to tell me how to grow a business?
Right.
I hate that.
Oh, and that's what bothers me about coaching industry.
Me too.
It's like you don't know your butt from a hole in the ground, and you're gonna go and coach someone on how to achieve the best results in their life. What have you done? And so I think what we're looking at is a complete. Did I say butt from a hole in the ground? Yeah, I think I did that. That was my Southern coming out. But I just think we're looking at a complete saturation of the market, so that there will be a few that really rise up to the top, and they're going to be more niche down. They're going to be more specific. They're going to be having a specific target audience that they're talking to. So it's not just going to be life coaching, because now it's just like, every person who's read a self-help book
is a
I
professional.
think I'm supposed to be a coach.
And
How much are you willing to invest in your coach training? A couple $100. No. And you want to work with someone's life decisions with their subconscious mind?
No.
Like if you needed heart surgery, would you go Google cheapest heart surgeon in Miami?
No.
But I see that's
what they do.
But basically it's like we're selling out. Like we're trying, with the coaching industry.
Because
It's a commodity.
They think, oh, I can do it. Anyone can do it. That's what I can do.
Yeah.
And I'll just go get my business, and everyone makes it look so easy.
And the people who are saying, I can train you to make money as a coach, are making money teaching coaches how to make money. They're not actually coaching. This is what I've noticed. It's like the people are like, hey, you're not making money as a coach. Of course not, because you don't have the training, you don't have the skills, you don't know how to sell it, you don't know how to get results. And so now they're listening to a lot of people who will teach them how to get clients.
Oh, how to get clients, not how to coach.
Not
they don't know how to coach.
Because they don't know how to coach.
Wow.
So that's what I'm seeing as a big risk for the coaching industry. It's just a saturation of the market and it becoming a commodity and people kind of not getting the results. And so they kind of lose the taste for coaching.
Do you only take a certain amount of, is it women, men?
Oh, no. Actually, most of my clients, I would say they're about half and half.
Okay.
And they only come from referrals, and they're very, very high level.
And do you only take a certain amount a year?
Yeah.
Like you cap it off?
Right. I cap it off around 7 or 8 because I invest so much.
7 or 8.
Yeah. I invest so much. And sometimes I told my husband the other day, I was like, okay, I'm not taking any more clients. That's it. No more clients. He's like, until a referral comes through and you have a consultation and you know that you can help them get those results. I'm like, you're right. I love helping people. And when I have a client who in 6 months has been able to like 10x their business.
Nothing more rewarding, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. I had this one client and she had a goal of paying off. She wanted to pay off $2 million and she wanted to get 5 investment properties. And she had a goal of 7 months to do that. This was years and years ago. 7 years to do that. I was like, 7 years?
That's
come on.
Long time.
And we got it all done in 7 months, paid off $2 million, got 5 investment properties. Like, all right, what's next?
And she's like, well,
yeah.
You just shrunk the time.
Yeah. And so those are the results I love getting for people. And now I only work with really high level who are, because they do have a different, usually people who are business owners who are usually operating around 8-9 figures.
Yeah.
Because they just have a different set of problems, a different set of challenges. And they need to know how to navigate those waters while keeping their marriage amazing and their children, their family life. Because if you lose that, it's not worth it. And I've seen that happen so many times. Struggling with addiction or depression or anxiety. And they feel like at that level, like when you're 8, 9, 10 figures, you can't show that. You can't, you just don't have the
luxury.
You don't have the luxury of showing anxiety or depression or overwhelm or confusion. And so when you give a safe place to be able to work through that and go to the subconscious barriers that could be in there, then it's like magic. It just things just operate so smoothly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Do you charge like one set fee and you work for them for a year?
Yeah.
What's your fee?
I charge about $100K to work with someone for a year.
Yeah.
And
Very reasonable.
it's very reasonable.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's like very
Yeah.
reasonable.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It is. And so,
And how
because
often
I
do
do a
you
lot
work
of work,
with them?
we meet every single week
Wow. For
Yeah.
what, an hour?
for an hour.
That is incredible.
I know.
Wow.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
And we just like keep everything growing and multiplying and moving forward.
So tell me real quick, and then we'll kind of wrap up here. We're done with this part,
Okay.
so we can just freestyle
Yes.
a little bit. So you've been married for 34 years.
It'll be 34 years in December.
Unbelievable. Congratulations.
Thank you. Do you
You
have
have-
one time we went, this is so funny. There was this post that went viral that said we haven't had a fight in 30, I think that's our 30th anniversary. And
Was that true?
we've never fought.
What is
We-
that? What?
We have had like where we're arguing. So I have a whole program called How to Argue, how to communicate basically. But we've never really fought. We've never had the silent treatment and the fighting and the, the anger, the hostility, and the raised voices. And so a post went out about that. And
Yeah, we've never had like throwing stuff or like, that kind of a fight.
right.
So
And-
maybe we've had arguments or
Yeah,
disagreements.
or
But let me hear
disagreements.
what
But Seth Meyers picked up that story, and he's like, he did a whole like comedy thing about this couple.
No.
Yeah, I know. I was like, wow.
what did he say?
Oh, just making fun of it.
Oh, like, yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So much. Like, okay, that's it. The things that came out about me that I'm really happy with is
Oh.
people not believing that we haven't fought, that we never raised our voices to each other. We never had, like, I'm not talking to you right now. Like, we never had fights like that.
That's
And
so beautiful.
it is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And because we really know, I just think that peace in a marriage is too important. It's more important than anything else
I
that could come
agree.
between you. It's like nothing's more important than that.
Peace. I want peace.
I want peace.
I want peace.
I
What
want
does
to
your
long
husband
to
do?
be with you. He works with me. He does like my
He does the
video editing, and
coaching,
he does
he does-
no.
So he
He
does
does-
all that.
Yes, he
stuff.
does. He manages me.
I love this.
So I could do nothing without
He's
him.
supporting
He's
you.
like that spirit of humility that he shows is
I
like
love him.
someone came over to our house the other day. He's like, "Oh my gosh, this is so gorgeous, Rare. Wow, this is amazing." He's like, "No, it's all her." And I was like, "Dude, I couldn't do this without you. Like, no, it's like back to you. Like, absolutely."
Wow.
But yeah,
See, that's what I
he
mean.
left his
You're
career
wa-
to support me.
Love
I know
this story.
he's the best.
What was his career?
He was a creative director at an ad agency.
Wow. So of course he makes
Yeah.
your sets and your lighting and everything
Oh,
look
he's
beautiful.
so sweet. Yeah,
Oh,
he's amazing.
God.
But he just like it's almost a full-time job just managing me.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. So, and I'm grateful. He makes it possible. But yeah, we haven't fought. And
And how old were you when you had your first kid?
oh my gosh, I was 25.
A little baby.
I was a baby having a baby. We grew
Wow.
up together. My kids all say that the reason I had so many kids is I just wanted a lot of kids to play with. I just wanted my own little play group. And so I had 7 kids.
Was that, so? Wow. So there were 7 kids in the house at one time.
Yes.
And then they just started to leave.
Yeah, my oldest is a chiropractor. The second one is my COO. She's operating as that.
Nice.
I have another one in sales. Another one is doing video production work and at a church. And another one, I have 2 in college. About to have 3 in college next year. So, yeah.
Do you have any at home anymore?
As of fall, I will not.
An empty
I'm kind of
nester. What are y'all gonna do?
First.
What are you gonna do
I'm serious.
first?
It's so funny because we, I see a lot of couples going into this period. It's like, what do we do now? Like, we have to get to know each other. What if you've always been getting to know each other? What if you've nurtured your marriage so much that it's an exciting time?
Wow. What do you
You
do to
know?
nurture your marriage?
We do everything together. We live on the lake. We probably go out rowing probably.
So when you row, are y'all
All the time.
talking business?
Well, we just talk everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Y'all were full in agreement and alignment with raising the kids and how you raise your kids?
Yeah.
Did y'all have this conversation before kids? During
Actually,
kids?
we didn't. Are you kidding? We were in our 20s. We didn't know anything. We're like, I'm pregnant. Okay, yay. What do we do now? Like, we didn't know anything. Literally, we're broke as a joke. We have no money. It's like Dumb and Dumber with credit cards. That's what we were like. It was just like, but we knew that what was most important was us and our family. And we just kept learning, growing, moving forward.
Did the kids ever try to go to him if you said no or get in between y'all?
Do that.
And were y'all in on it and have each other's back, or how'd y'all work that?
Oh, we would always say, well, what did your mom say? Or what did your dad say? Like, we had tools, we had strategies. I remember one time we were at the pool, and this was when all 7 kids, they were little, and it was a community pool. And I told the kids, hey guys, we're going to leave in 10 minutes. And one of the kids said, may I peel? And I was like, yeah, what? Said, well, we were just started a game. Can we have like an extra 20? And I said, yeah, sure. Okay. And when the parents came over, they're like, did I just hear your son say, can I appeal? I said, we got to have strategies. When you have that many kids, you have to have strategies on how they learn humility and obedience and honor and
Respect. Did any of them try not to respect you at any point?
Oh,
how do you get
of course.
Really?
Of course.
How do you get the respect back in without making it be an enforcement?
You know what is the hardest thing is when you have comedians for children.
Oh dear.
Because then you lose it. You can't enforce anything. Because they learn. I know. I have one daughter she does stand-up comedy in New York, and she's another, I don't know. It's just like I've raised a bunch of comedians, and so they know if they can make mom laugh, I can't follow through. Can't do it.
Oh, that's hysterical. They learned your weakness.
They learned.
And they pounced.
They did.
I love it.
Claws out.
But how do you, like, let's say a mom feels like their kid's not respecting them. How can they get the kids to respect them?
Well, you know what I've noticed is that when a mom says that the kids won't respect me, every single time I've noticed the mom doesn't really respect herself. And you cannot, respect isn't something that's just given to you. You have to carry the energy of confidence and respect. It's almost like you don't have to enforce it if you just expect it. And so the children learn, they learn that you walk in confidence, so don't cross her.
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to teach them how to handle life, how to trust themselves, how to be confident, and how to command respect in a room.
Mm-hmm.
And so until a mom can respect herself and honor what she does and love what she does and step up to all the challenges, I think it's almost impossible.
Because the kids seem to walk all over parents today, and parents seem to be in like propitiation to their kids and so afraid if their kids don't like them. And it's like kind of the dynamics kind of changed a little bit, right? Like
it's like they're scared of their children.
They're scared of their children.
And I think you're scared of everything you don't know. Like, think about it. The things that you're afraid of, you really don't know.
Right.
So if you don't really know your children and know how they tick, then you're always going to carry a certain distance with them. But I think the more you know them, the deeper you know them, and the more you understand how their mind works, you can just meet them right where they are.
Wow. Great advice. So good.
But they're all so different.
Mm-hmm.
So, you just learn how they operate.
Mm-hmm.
I think I talk to all my children differently because I know that they process differently. So I know how to reach one as opposed to reaching another. So it's important that you really know your stuff.
Yeah.
And also I think motherhood is something that we think should just come naturally. Sometimes it doesn't. Like, that's why we have an entire university for moms, because it's something that you feel so overwhelmed and you're scared you're doing everything wrong. And chances are you could be.
I know I've made so many mistakes.
Oh my gosh.
And
we all have.
And the this and the that. And then, you have your sanity point where you make yourself feel better going, well, I know I'm better than like I have to be better than 95%.
Stupider people than me.
Yeah, I've done this. I can get through this.
I can do this. I can do this. It's a hard day.
It is.
But I can get through this.
Yeah.
And I think as long as they know that you're the safe place to land.
Exactly.
You know?
That I'm always going to be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the truth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there will be no judgment. We're going to tackle these things together, whatever it is.
Yeah.
My kids are not perfect.
Yeah.
They have made some really stupid mistakes. But you know what? It's like, okay, we're going to arm in arm. We're going to tackle this together. And because we all screw up.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Yep.
But think about how much stronger you become when you face that and move through it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, it has been amazing. Amazing.
I have had such a good time
having you on this show. I feel like I could just pick your brain for hours. Well, we're going to have coffee.
We are going to have coffee.
Okay, that is a done.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming down here and being on the Elena Cardone Show. I know you added value to my life. So I know for sure I can speak on behalf of everyone that's watching and say, I know they were really grateful for all the input that you've given. Thank you.
Elena, you're such a blessing.
You are. All right. Well, thank you so much. And that is another episode of the Elena Cardone Show. Yes, you're welcome. That was a good one. Stay tuned. We'll bring you the next Elena Cardone Show soon.
About to grace us, whether extraordinary, 10x skill. 10x badass, yeah, I'm after what I want.